Welcome to the Innovation Station. My name is Niamh. I'm a part of the Innovation for Quality and Access track at WISE, and it's my pleasure to be introducing the 2021 WISE Awards winners today. It's really great to have you all together. For those of you who are tuning in online, welcome, and to the audience as well here today. I'd like to start by introducing Ms. Magdalena Briere, who is the Managing Director from Profuturo Digital Education Programme, which hosts a wonderful low-cost digital education solution, particularly to support student learning in vulnerable environments. So please help me welcome Magdalena.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Neil. So I will present Profuturo. I think we are going to, okay. So Profuturo's mission is to narrow the education gap in the world by introducing digital education into the school learning, into the teacher training. Our vision is to improve the education of millions of children in vulnerable environments throughout the world. But our approach is not only digital. It is much broader because we want to change the whole educational experience. We are a catalyst of change. We have an inspiring model that we want others to copy. So Profuturos it was established in 2016, and since then we have projects in more than 40 countries all around the world. We have trained more than 1 million children and approached almost 20 million children. So we have trained 1 million teachers and approached more than 20 million children since then. We reach the most vulnerable population. Our approach is not only digital, it's not based only in connectivity, because most of our offer is offline. Our growth strategy for the future is linked to the existing of additional and new partnerships with global allies and ministries of education that would provide the infrastructure that we need to go with our project. We also plan to enlarge our commitment with children living in emergency context. Profuturo responds with digital innovation to the increasing gap in education. We face the big challenges in education, such as lack of teacher competences, learning poverty, lack of a real educational community, and some other challenges. Profuturo's proposal is a combination of technology plus innovation in education to produce a change in education, to produce experiences in the classroom that using technology would capture the attention of the child and change the dynamic of the class. Because we think that quality relies in this change of dynamic, in capturing the attention of the children and making the child be more participate in the class. Profuturo is one of the few organizations at global level that focus on teacher training, and we give intensive support throughout the time to the teachers. We are aligned with existing global trends such as adaptation to local contexts, working in partnerships, open digital approach, pedagogical proposals with innovative methodologies. But furthermore, we base our work on unique elements such as we empower the educational actors, we empower the children, we empower the teacher, we empower the family. We use data analytics for learning improvement to provide the teacher tools to personalize the education. And we work in trying to get memorable and transformative learning experiences in the classroom and to reach a global learning community to have teachers learn peer-to-peer and to produce contents between them. Next slide, please. Our strategy for 2024 focuses on quality, impact, and sustainability. And the concrete goals we have defined are the following. We want to consolidate the program and improve high-quality results. This is possible with the implementation of a new monitoring and evaluation system that I will talk about a little bit later to keep on improving our program. We want to grow in a sustainable way with the most vulnerable. We will enlarge our outreach, focusing on partnerships. We will strengthen our educational innovation solution using data analytics to facilitate the teachers' personalization of learning. And we will consolidate a strong network of partnerships to become a reference for innovation and digital education. Next slide, please. From our experience since Profuturo was established in 2016, we could already see some evidence of the impact of the project. We could see improved motivation of teachers and children, improve of teachers' competences, improve students' learning, and one of the programs with the largest presence in the world. But as mentioned before, we have just launched a new monitoring and evaluation strategy that will allow us to continuously improve the program and obtain evidence of the changes achieved. The plan includes centralized evaluations, operational evaluations managed by the actors in the field, and evaluations promoted by other entities such as governments, multilateral organizations, etc. But let me finish with a quote of one student from Galapagos Island in Ecuador. That has benefited from the program because it is for things like this that we do what we do. It's lady in Galapagos. She has benefited from our program since the beginning, and she was so grateful because the knowledge she obtained using technology, which she had not used technology in the class until she reached Profuturo program. It has opened her mind, and I think the future she wants to become a lawyer, and she was so happy and thankful. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Magdalena. I think it's really nice to hear about the personalised learning aspect of Profuturo. Very innovative approach in general. I'll move on now to Mr. Jamie Stewart, who is the CTO of 1 Billion. 1 Billion offer a tablet and programme solution that enables children to become numerate and to learn to read and write without the need of adult supervision. So please help me welcome Jamie.
Thank you, everyone. A pleasure to be here. Yesterday I was listening to a talk, and I think there were two pertinent things to come out of that talk. And they were talking about the next innovations in EdTech that were going to be important. And the two that came out were proper personalization of software and also relevant assessment. I'd like to pick up on those 2 points because that's kind of what we do as part of other things that we do at 1 Billion. So the first one is we create personalized software for the child. So our software is called One Course. If we could just skip to the next slide, you'll see some small parts of One Course in action. So One Course is designed to take a child from zero to comprehension. So it's an ambitious goal. It's personalized, so that means it adapts to a child's needs and abilities. It's in the child's own language, so it means that the child is learning in their mother tongue, which is a very, very important part of the software. Last of all, it's comprehensive. So within this software, there is over 200 hours of learning for the child spread across 4,000 different individual units of learning. The second thing that we do is called One Test. Now, this is new, and this is a new digital assessment tool that we've been developing to rapidly diagnose where a child is in terms of their reading and numeracy abilities. It's child-led, it's quick, it's cheap. We have plans to validate it against existing tools like EGRA and EGMA. And at the moment, it's in an open beta, so you can go and download it and try for yourselves, perhaps with some children. The third thing we do, and kind of the subject of our involvement with WISE, is OneTab, which is this small tablet we have here. The purpose of OneTab is to be a dedicated learning device that incorporates both One Course, the software for the child who's learning to read, and also tools for the teacher like One Test for assessment. It's low cost, it's durable, it works completely offline, there's no need for internet on this device. It can be powered by small and cheap solar panels like I've got here, and it's simple to own, operate, and to use. That simplicity is key, and it means that it can work in many different modalities. Many different environments, so in the home, in the school, in the community, so it's a really adaptable device. If we can just move on to the next slide. One of the titles of our application was around effective EdTech, and I'd just like to sort of talk about this briefly. What is effective EdTech? What do we mean by effective EdTech? And it's one thing that we always promote, and that's kind of two sub-points there. So one is there needs to be significant evidence that children are learning. Sometimes we forget about this, but this is really, really important. And the second is also value for money. If we can get those two things right, we believe that means the EdTech is effective in terms of delivering for the child. So what have we seen with our own software? Is it effective? We've had quite a lot of peer-reviewed research done into the efficacy of our software in terms of children's learning. One of the most prominent was the Global Learning X Prize, which is a competition set up by Elon, or funded by Elon Musk. And that ran a field trial in Tanzania over the course of 15 months. And I'll just read out one of the pertinent stats there, which was that at the beginning of the study, less than 10% of children could read a single word, and by the end, 45% of children could read a word, and 30% were reading sentences. So this software can really be transformational in terms of children's learning. The evidence has also shown that the software can be effective in different contexts, so in school, out of school, and most importantly, it can bring particularly girls up to the same level as boys. As we all know, there is a big gender disparity in many countries, and what we've seen through our research partners is that the software can bring parity where there is disparity, which is really important. At the moment, this software is being used by about 200,000 to 300,000 children in many different parts of the world. If we could just move on to the next slide. Thank you. So, how is our solution innovative? I mean, I think we have to sort of step back and look at the bigger picture. So if we look at the status quo, which is kind of where we are at the moment, it's getting us nowhere. Learning poverty, you know, the World Bank's measure has jumped from 53% for low and middle income countries up to 70%, which is an absolute travesty, mainly due to COVID, but things aren't getting any better. To get out of this, we need to innovate and we need to scale things that work. And we at 1 billion bring simple solutions that can deliver to address this need. Simple, though, is really difficult. Simple solutions are the ones that can work and that can scale. Just some examples that we have. You know, we think about how devices like this could be powered where there is no grid electricity. We think about things like how do you have a login system in a classroom with 250 children? Everything just breaks down. So you have to make things as simple and easy to use as possible for the child using it, for the facilitator, the teacher using it with their children in their classroom, for the person designing the model of how it's used in the classroom, for the trainer. Everything needs to be as simple as possible, otherwise it all breaks down and it can't scale. So we believe that OneTab can bring equity to learning and disrupt this status quo. Since the pandemic and obviously the school closures of the last couple of years, we've seen massive demand all over the world for this device from richer countries like the US, the UK, but also from some of the world's poorest countries as well. So one of the biggest trials we did with this particular device was in Malawi, where we've worked for many years now, and that was where we had 700 households across 2 communities who had one of these devices in their homes during school closures. And we wanted to see, and you can see some of the children on the slide here who were taking part in that. We wanted to see how much they would use these devices in the home. They were using them for 2 hours on average every single day, which is quite a sustained amount of time to be spending using something like this. And we knew anecdotally that it wasn't just children who are using these devices. We believe that there is a magnifying effect to illiterate adults, other members of the community, siblings using devices like this together in the home. So there's a real power to that. Now, one story that we heard through our partner there was the story of a girl called Jacqueline. So Jacqueline was in standard 2, so kind of 7 years old. She'd grown up in Cape Town speaking Zulu, and her Malawian parents had moved back to Malawi. And obviously Chichewa was what she would normally be speaking at home, but Chichewa to her was a second language. So she, after a year of using this device, not only mastered Chichewa, but also mastered English. So just talking about some of the challenges that we faced. I mean, the conventional wisdom says that the most effective ed tech is always in the hands of the teacher, and I think we'd like to challenge that a bit. I mean, you know, what if schools are closed, as they have been in many countries for a very, very long period of time? What if there is no teacher? What if the teacher is demotivated, overworked, underpaid, poorly trained? So working through schools is not always the answer, and we have strong evidence that devices like this can be most effective in the hands of the child. It's not our intention to replace the teacher, it's our intention to empower the teacher. Another challenge is what we hear that ministries want. They want an all-encompassing solution from primary through to tertiary. I think what the World Bank is now saying more prominently is that foundational literacy and numeracy needs to be the focus for many, many ministries around the world, and that's our focus too, so it's a shared focus. NGOs perhaps defaulting to old ways of working. So many challenges, but the biggest one really comes back to what I was saying earlier around simplicity. So making complex things simple for people to implement. What's next for us at 1 billion? Obviously, with a name like 1 billion, we do have a huge goal. You know, there's 250 million children now out of school as well. We believe that simple, effective EdTech can help us get there. We want to iterate the software, make it more efficient, more personalized, get it into new languages, and we want to focus on the most marginalized children, so those that are out of school and those with special needs. So I'll leave you with 3 takeaways. One, we are failing hundreds of millions of children who can't read, and that is a travesty. Number 2, we have a solution that is in the child's own language, can work offline, is personalized, works where there's no power, and has a strong evidence base for efficacy. And the last one is we want to support people like you to scale this effective EdTech. So please do speak to us about how we can do that together. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jamie, and hopefully going forward the WISE community will be able to collaborate and continue together. Look forward to the next steps. Next, I'd like to move on to Ms. Sucheta Bhatt, who is the CEO of Dream a Dream, based in India. Dream a Dream are an integral part of the Delhi government's happiness curriculum. This project is dedicated to providing mindfulness and well-being practice to students across lots of different grade levels. So please welcome Sucheta.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for this opportunity. So I want to start with the story of Gurmeet. Gurmeet is an 8th grade student. Her mother is a homemaker and her father works as a construction laborer, and she has a younger brother in the 1st grade. She likes to dance, loves cats, and wants to become a doctor. She was an extremely shy child, and she didn't really communicate with her teachers or even her friends. With the happiness curriculum, which places specific emphasis on creating a safe space for students where they can express themselves without the fear of a right or wrong answer, Gurmeet was able to thrive. She began speaking up in class, interacting with her teachers, and became much more responsive. The curriculum has given her a new lease of confidence, and in her own words, "Now I feel free, and I want to be the first person to answer in class." The next slide. Gurmeet's story is just one of many, and it resonates with the 800,000 students from nursery to grade 8 studying across the 1,030 government schools in Delhi. The happiness curriculum was introduced to answer one question: what makes a good life? The curriculum ensures that children are prepared to deal with the demands of an unpredictable future. The pedagogy addresses 21st century problems by looking beyond just academic excellence and focusing on holistic learning to help them lead a good life. It focuses on the well-being and happiness of students with a strong emphasis on the core scholastic skills of mindfulness, self-awareness, critical thinking, reflection, and other social-emotional skills. This was the first time that an SCL-based curriculum was placed in the formal education system in the Indian public schools. The curriculum design keeps the child at the center and allows for reflective discussions to ensure that there is sufficient time for all students to express themselves. Students start every class with mindfulness, helping them to bring awareness to their thoughts and feelings. As this class does not have an examination portion, it enables students to think and reflect without judgment or evaluation. The teachers have the flexibility to move at the pace of their students rather than the pressure to complete the syllabus. This encourages both students and teachers to move away from traditional learning methods and really create a safe and learning environment. The curriculum is contextualized to help students connect more easily with what they learn to their life outside school. Next slide. One of the students started leaving little notes of gratitude for each of her parents on the wall of their home. Her parents were initially confused, so she shared a story called Bada Admi, which means big man in Hindi, that she heard in the happiness classes with them. The story helped her develop and express a deep sense of gratitude towards them. It also transformed her relationship with her parents as she was able to see them as people and not just to somebody who had a parental duty towards her. To make the happiness curriculum successful, teachers, as always, are key to the transformation. In this case, they are trained to create a safe environment based on authenticity and deep listening. Teachers have shared that the curriculum has benefited not just the students, but them as well. One of the teachers shared with us that she has learned to practice mindfulness whenever she feels overwhelmed. This has changed her classroom dynamic, and students no longer fear her. The curriculum has been a significant milestone in bringing SEL and life skills discussion to the forefront of Indian education system and has strengthened the narrative of its importance and to integrate it across the country. A big challenge, of course, was COVID-19. With the onset of the pandemic, students were unable to attend classes. So what we did is we worked to engage students with happiness IVRs and short videos or voice notes over WhatsApp to help them practice the happiness activities with their families in their homes. Just this went such a long way in helping them deal with the challenges of the pandemic and the impact that it was having on their own mental health. Additionally, the challenge is ensuring availability of happiness teachers for their training and capacity building. There are 21,000 happiness teachers across the system in Delhi. So recognizing this, we adopted a cascade model of training where teachers receive capacity building sessions through mentor teachers who are designated as mentors to these teachers in their schools. We also designed shorter training modules to make it easier for teachers to understand and implement the curriculum in their respective schools. Initially, when the curriculum was launched, some parents showed resistance because they were not aware of its importance and they thought it was a waste of time. However, as we started including more and more parents in the activities, in the happiness events, which eventually led the parents to start looking at the benefits of the happiness curriculum and the impact that it had on their children's lives. It also had a significant impact on their own relationship with their children. Gurmeet's mother noted that the activities helped her communicate better with her children, be more patient, and it has given Gurmeet a way to appreciate her mother's everyday challenges. The focus for Dream a Dream now, going forward, is to build on the success of the happiness curriculum beyond Delhi and across the country. Through implementing this curriculum in different states, we hope to reach, the next slide, we hope to reach at least 4 million children by supporting state governments to implement different variations of the happiness curriculum in the next 2 or 3 years. But the larger question that we're grappling with is how to ensure that a happiness class or a social emotional learning class doesn't just become a 40-minute interlude without fundamentally creating a shift on what is the purpose of education in today's demanding times. So our goal is to create a mindset shift that in the larger ecosystem beyond Delhi and across the country, to look at education beyond just academic outcomes or getting a job, but to that can help children overcome the impact of the adversities they face and to thrive in the 21st century. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Suchaita. I think it's fair to say we would all love to be sitting in on one of those happiness classes for sure. So we'll wrap up for today. It's been so nice to gather together and to listen to really how each of your projects really hit home in terms of innovation and, you know, reaching every child. So please, everyone, give a big thanks to our WISE Awards winners.
Thank you.
Thank you.